Hey guys, happy Thursday. Tomorrow I think is the last day in this month, so I am going to do my February wrap up because I am actually done reading books for the month of February. We read pretty much all of the books that we said we was gonna read in the month of February except for one, and I'm actually in the middle of reading that book right now. It is The Davenports by gosh, the author name just slipped my mind. But anyway, we are in the middle of reading that book. I think we basically just began because we are only on chapter 2 or 3 in that book. But all the other Black author books that I said that I was going to read in the month of February, I actually did read them. So that was a great month for reading the books that I said I was going to read. But first guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, we would love to have you as a family of Yolanda's books. So there should be a button down at the bottom. It should say Yolanda's books. If you click that button, it will take you to some bells, and if you click all, it will let you know whenever I do anything on YouTube. And just in advance, welcome to the family. So first of all guys, I want to know how you guys are doing, what you guys are reading, what you guys have read that really stuck out to you. So drop it down in the comments. Let me know what has been going on with you guys for the reading month of February. What books that you really liked, any recommendations, just all the things guys. But also, first I want to give you guys a little haul. I went shopping today and I just got a few things. I did get 2 books when I went shopping today, and I think I might like these books. I do like Emily Henry, and I see she has the Sugar Lake series. This is book 1. It's called Beneath the Stars. The cover of it just looks so great. So I decided to pick this one up and actually give it a try. It looks like it has like 452 pages in it. Hopefully this book will be a great book. I don't think I have read a book by Emily McIntyre. I hope I ain't said Henry. I don't think I've read a book by Emily McIntyre that I have not enjoyed. So hopefully Sugar Lake series will be one of the books that I do enjoy of her writing. If you guys have actually started this series or read any of these books, y'all just drop it down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about the book. It says Alana Carson meets Chase Adams when she's 11 years old after he moves in down the street carrying nothing but a chip on his shoulder and dimples in his cheeks. Okay. Immediately she falls, loving him before she even knows what loving is. But becoming best friends from Chase's little sister means that he's off limits, no matter how much their connection screams for something more. Chase never cared much for following the rules, abandoned by everyone who's supposed to love him. He's broken and insecure, choosing to push others away before they have a chance to hurt him. But there's something about the girl with the golden hair, and before he can stop himself, he's sneaking through her window, whispering his deepest secrets beneath her glow-in-the-dark stars. So cute. As time goes on, they get older, and I think just by reading the first few, well, the first chapter it says 11 years old. So as the time goes on and they get older, he decides to give their love a chance, no matter what anyone else thinks. Excuse me. But old habits die hard, and when tragedy strikes, Chase is back to doing what he does best, running away, ruining everything. Chase disappears and years pass, leaving Alana with no choice but to pick up her broken pieces and move on, until one day he's back, all grown up and taking over his family business. When Alana and Chase are thrown together and forced to work in the same building, old feelings resurface, and Alana quickly realizes that Chase is on a mission, determined to right the wrong of his past. Okay, so I think that would be a cutesy little read. Second chance at romance, second chance at love trope is what this book is giving me. So Sugar Lake series book 1, Beneath the Stars by Emily McIntyre, is one of the books that I picked up today. The other one is a Sarah Adams book. I enjoyed reading When in Rome by Sarah Adams. The book was just so cute. I felt so connected to the characters that was in the book. It was just a cutesy book. So we bought Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. And I just feel like and hope that this is a cutesy book to read. It says Emily Walker hates having her carefully crafted world disrupted by anyone. Most of all, her legendary nemesis, Jack Bennett. He's the opposite of the wonderful heroes she dreams up in her double life as a romance writer, which is why Emily was perfectly happy when Jack left Rome, Kentucky, mid-school year with his fiance. The last thing Emily saw coming was Jack's return at the start of the summer after calling off the wedding and ending her relationship. But he's here to stay as her colleague and her neighbor. Okay. Jack is glad to be back, eager to renovate his house and work on the next mystery novel under his best-selling pen name. But when he realizes how he's now neighbors with one of the women who has always pushed his buttons, he discovers something he's even more excited about. Thwarting Emily and her plan to sabotage his return. With their chemistry fused at all-time high, Emily accidentally sends an email to their school's principal that could reveal her secret literary side hustle. She needs to steal back her manuscript, and Jack, she hates to admit, is just the man to help her. Surprisingly, he agrees. With their unlikely alliance put an end to their rivalry, or could it lead to a steamy plot twist they never saw coming? I seen one of the girls that I follow, she actually read this book on her Kindle, and she said that she really did enjoy this book. I think she gave it like a 3.5 or a 4-star. So I was eager to pick this one up when I seen it in the store today. Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. We picked up a few other things as well inside the store. I got me another teacup. It says For the Love of Books. I thought it was such a cute little cup. It was like $5. So I mean, when I'm doing my vlogs or just doing whatever, I think it would be so cute to have this cup that says For the Love of Books. And y'all know I love cups like to the highest. I love cups for tea, cups for coffee, and I will just drink whatever out of a mug. So we seen this one when we were shopping, and I thought it was just the cutest thing, y'all. Just look at this little coffee cup. It looks like a little mushroom house. So I thought that was so cute. So we ended up picking up this one as well. And then guys, we did end up picking an instant backflow cone holder. I have one in my book room, but I didn't have one in the area up front where I keep my books also. So we also ended up picking up this guy. And I just love the way it looks when all the smoke just goes to the directions that it's supposed to go. So stinking cute. Okay, few more things and then we'll move on to our, excuse me y'all, that was just all up in y'all grill. Anyway, so we bought some merchandise from some of the places that I actually collab with. Retro Smiley, I think, is the place that I collab with for these slippers, and I will put all of my collabs in my description box, and if you click on the link that I put there, it will take you to the sites and you will actually be able to get some percentage off whenever you actually buy something from any of these sites. But these came from Retro Smiley. It is some little slippers. I just love bedroom slippers, and these are just a perfect color because I love blue, and then I like the way it actually has like a different color on the inside. If you had to wear them outside, it has the little hard bottom, so you will be able to wear these outside as well. But guys, Retro Smiley, thank you for being a sponsor on this video. And also guys, we have collab with Hello Cleo, and with Hello Cleo guys, they have like a number, I don't even know what okay, hold on, a number of different things on their site. But we got the, I think this one is Hello Shirley, the color red, in the Hello Cleo bag. This is actually a Kindle bag, and it is just such the cutest thing, y'all. It is a crossbody bag, and it has just the perfect space for your Kindle. Like the inside of it is plush, so when you put your Kindle in, your Kindle will not get harmed of any kind. And then it has two other pockets that you can like put different stuff in, and use it as a crossbody little bag. And the other thing that I loved about it is that it had this little pouch here, and what you do here is you put your AirPods in here. So you got everything at hand in this little cute crossbody bag. So Hello Cleo, thank you for sponsoring this video. If you go to my description box, you will be able to find the link for this product, and if you click that link, you will be able to get some percentage off for whatever you buy on that site. So I think that is all the things that I want to show you guys that I bought or that I have. So let's get straight into this February wrap up, guys. So we're gonna start with the books that I said that I was gonna read for the month of February. And of course, y'all know I usually put my reviews on Goodreads, so I will be reading off of Goodreads what I wrote as far as the review of these particular books. So and that is like if I actually wrote something. So the first book that we are going to talk about is The Kiss Countdown by Etta Ediston. I actually gave this book a 3-star, but I did not write a review of this book on Goodreads yet, but I thought this book was a really cutesy little book. I did give it a 3-star. It was kind of dainty to me, but some of the scenes in this book were just so perfect. Vincent, he was such a cute boyfriend in this book. He was pretty much kind of a loner to me, even from his family. Like he did not like participate in like a bunch of functions that his family actually does. So when he was when he was asked to, or kind of like thrown into being a fake boyfriend for Armani at the coffee shop, it just kind of worked out for both of them to actually participate in the fake dating trope. So you know, this book, it was kind of cute, I must say, but I did give it a 3-star on the on Goodreads. Alright guys, so let's move on. The next one that we read and that we really did enjoy was Real by Kennedy Ryan. It is part of the Hollywood Renaissance series. Y'all, this book was so awesome. I love the cover. I think there's other covers of this book, but I really did love the cover of this book, and we gave this book a 5-star read. And I will just read to you guys what I wrote on Goodreads. Kennedy Ryan does it all the time. Real was just what I expected it to be, and then some. This book was to me like a mix between grief, true love, and medical issues. In the beginning of the book, when I read the prologue, I was mad at her sister and her fiance. This is what made me want to continue to chapter 1. Canon and seen Nava somewhere performing and just knew she needed to be in his film and was determined to make that so. With him not knowing her story, he actually grew to like her in a love story type of way, and I was so here for it. I love the way they were trying to hide how they felt about each other during the book, but when they were actually together, the spice, emotion, and all was just the best. I love the way Canon and Neva would have their real, as I call them, conversations, and how he was just the best when he actually found out about her condition of life. The narrator was on point. Yolandas books. I enjoyed this book so much. If you like to listen to audiobooks, and I mean like a good audiobook, I would suggest that you listen to Real as an audiobook while you are actually reading the book, because like the audio is what made this book so good. The issue that Neva, I think that's how you say her name, anyway, had going on was just so heart touching, and the relationship with her family, the relationship with Canon, all that just was intertwined together, and it just made the book so well worth it. I always love a Kennedy Ryan book. So the next book that we read was James by Percival Everett. This basically is like a retelling of Huckleberry Finn, and I gave this book a 4-star read. I really did enjoy reading this book. I gave it a 4-star read, and my review just went away, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so a great book for Black History Month of 2025. Percival Everett writing was great at describing the settings and making everyone in the book feel so real. I enjoyed the songs during the book, made the plot of the book come out and into place. He kept the story interesting from beginning to end. During the book, James learned a lot about his journey and the people around him. Book is based off of James' side of Mark Twain's novel Huckleberry Finn. James' character had a journey of discovery. The writing was awesome as well as the audio. So I really did enjoy this book. I gave it a 4-star. It was the very first book that I ever read by this author, and I don't know, or can I say like I am a fan of Huckleberry Finn. I think I've seen the movie, but as per se like read the book from Mark Twain, I haven't. So but with the actual audio for this book, this right here was a really great book to read. Alright, the next book that we read in this vlog of February was Legend Born by Tracy Dion. I gave this book a 3-star. I actually read this book along with the audio, but it just did not, I can't say it did not do it for me. It was just that, I don't know, maybe because it was the first book that I ever read by this author, and with it being a fantasy book, I just had to get used to like the world building and everything of this book, and I just gave it a 3-star read. My review on this book was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I gave this book a 3-star read. I like this book even though I gave it a 3-star read. I don't really get the only black girl in the school deal, but okay. Legendborn is a YA fantasy book starring a grieving black heroine who is pushed into a secret society of students that are like magical hunters. Bree is only 16 years old and grieving the death of her mother, who died in an accident by one of the people that she noticed at the school she goes to. Which on the first night of the school, she witnessed a demonic attack. That is when she discovered the secret society of students there. At this time, or a little after Bree thinks this society has some answers about her mother's death, I like the main character and how she managed to grieve of her mother and what she actually and who might have been the cause of her mother's death. She was handling her grief very well at this time, but in a sense, I think this could be a hit or a miss book for some to read. So like, and it was a hit or miss book for me. I do have Blood Marked, and I will actually be reading that book as well. Hopefully with me knowing what I have read about Legendborn and then me reading Blood Marked, I hope it will just actually like all come together and make this series worth my while. Alright y'all, so I'm going to start with all the hardback books that I read. The first one is the third book in the Legend of Ashura, Children of Anguish and Anarchy. I gave this book a 4-star read. I actually like this book better than I like all the other books that I read out of this series. We gave this book a 4-star read. And I said, oh my god, by listening to the audio and reading this book by listening to the audio and reading this book at hand, I really loved this book better than the 2 I read before. I felt connected to the characters more in this book and actually understood the banter in this book. This book was filled with magic, mayhem, memories, war, and fighting to save the people of Arisha and New Gala. I don't even know how you say that stuff, y'all. This book was beautiful, written but just ended. Will there be another book? LOL. I know that there will not be another book to this series. I know that they said that this actually was the last book in this series, but I feel like she hit in this last book. The other 2 books were okay, but at times I was a little confused about those other books, but this one really hit in the right areas, and like I actually understood and was connected to the characters in this book. So I just hate that that was the actual last book in the series, and it was the best book in the series. Her first book, to my understanding, is actually becoming a movie, so I can't wait to actually see the movie of the first book and see if it will be better to me than actually like reading the book when I did read the book. So the next book that we read was a Emily Henry book, and it is Funny Story. Y'all, I gave this book a 3-star read. I read this book way after the hype about this book was over, and to be honest, I do not understand what the hype was about this book. This was a good book. The writing is a classic story within Emily Henry. Descriptive, witty, and charming. I feel like this book was a great combination of characters, growth, and romance. I enjoyed the small town vibes and the female friendship, LOL. There was parts of this book that I do not remember at all, but I do remember that I felt like Daphne deserved so much better. As as I write this review, I do feel like this book could have been so much better, though but readable. I do not think it was worth the hype that it was getting upon coming out. Have read more books she has written and really enjoyed them. So I don't know, guys. I just felt like the hype that everybody was giving this book was just not the hype that this book should have been getting. Like I said, I read more books by this author that I really did enjoy way better than Funny Story by Emily Henry. Next book that we read was my first Riley Sager book. I had never read a book by Riley Sager before I read Middle of the Night. I gave this book a 4-star read. It took a little getting into, but when I actually got into this book, I really did enjoy this book, with it being the very first book that I read by this author. My first book that I have actually read by this author. It was not a bad read, but I had to get to almost the end of the book before it actually picked up for me. In the beginning of the book, I was like, this little boy or teenager was missing, and now where will the story end up? So I went on and on, like jumping here and there, and I started to get a little uninterested. But so it went on and on, like jumping here and there, and so I started to get uninterested, but I kept reading, and did it start to get very interesting. The ending ties everything together nicely for this book, and I really enjoyed and was shocked at what and who happened in this book. To be honest, I am eager to read another one of his books. So sometimes when a book jump from then and now and things like that, it really kind of gets me uninterested in the book, or just confuses me in the book. But when I got to probably middle to the end of this book, it really came together for me, and I was just so glad that I enjoyed the read for this book. Alright, so moving right along, we read Once Upon a Broken Heart series, but we actually read them out of order. Well, I read book 2 and 3, and I have not read book 1 yet. But we read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I gave this book a 3-star. I did really kind of enjoy this book, but when I got to book 3, it was like, whoo, like that book took me there. I ended up enjoying this book more than I thought I would. The storyline in this book and the conversation in this book was a little YA, but what? Hold on, guys. That's a blooper. Let me read what I wrote. I said I ended up enjoying this book more than I thought I would. The storyline in this book and the conversation in this book was a little YA. To my thoughts, I thought that the description of what was going on at the times were actually pretty graphic and great. The love that Evelyn had for her husband was everything, but the King of Hearts, Jax, had another thought. Jax in this book was just not what I think or feel was doing things that will benefit what he needed her to do. I don't know what I meant by that. Overall, this book was easy to follow and I enjoyed it. I don't know what I meant by that, but I really did enjoy this book. Jax really took this book over the top for me. I enjoyed the plot of this book. This was a fantasy book to my understanding, and I actually enjoyed the plot to this book because like it just all came together, like what Jax was doing, what Apollo was doing, Evelyn, like all the things. So I really did enjoy that book as well. And so then we read A Curse to True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the actual last book in this series, and I gave this book a 4-star read. Y'all, I really did like this one. This was the last book in this series, and I just really did like this book. I got so connected to Evelyn and Jax to it was pathetic. In the beginning, I felt kind of sorry, like in book 2, kind of sorry for Apollo, like all the things. But once I read book 3 of this series, I was like, bump Apollo. Jax is my man, and Evelyn, like, I feel like they should be together. So I said, for this to be a fantasy book and for me not to be a big fantasy girly, I truly did enjoy this, reading this book. Apollo was not the person I thought he was from book 2. I have not read book 1 yet. In this book, he is the bad person in the book. LOL. I was able to connect with all the characters in this book, even the guards and the little peasant people, as they called them. Evelyn Fox and the Lord of Hearts Jax was the best characters in this book. The storyline was great. The dialogue was better, and I could easily feel like I am or was in the movie reading this book too. This book was like a true love story, and I am sad that there is only 3 books to this series, Yolanda's books. Y'all, I enjoyed this book. Once Jax actually came back into Evelyn's life, she was like determined to, and I don't think she knew he was Jax. She thought he was actually somebody else, but she was determined to actually see this person, like all the things. She just, put so much trust in that person. And that book was just so nice to me. The next book that we read that I truly did not like was All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I gave this book a 1-star read, y'all. I did not like this book. This book was a horrible read for me. This book, y'all. I had high hopes for this book being a reading with Jenna book, but it was not my favorite book at all. I was totally confused less than 20% into the book and just did not understand what the banter, storyline, plot of this book was supposed to be. Like, okay, in the beginning of the book, I get what happened. What was the deal with the bees and the honey? Like, how did that tie into what I thought the book was going to be about? I do not know, y'all. I was just not excited about this read, and over 200 chapters, heck no. I don't know if I can call this a DNF because I got to like chapter 196, just could not go any further. So I did not like this book, y'all. Alright, y'all, let's finish up with the last few books that I read in the month of February. We're gonna start back again with Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. One of my followers or subscribers, they asked me about this book because they seen it on a photo that I put on either Instagram or like on my YouTube channel. And I just had to pick it up and read it. I gave this book a 5-star read, y'all. I enjoyed this book so much. The Berry Pickers was such a great book to read. One of my followers on YouTube asked me if I had read this book and wanted to know my thoughts. So I had to get to reading this book ASAP. Yolanda's book's thoughts on this book is a 5-star read, y'all. I really, at this moment, cannot even explain how I feel about this book. Being so emotional about this book. Ruthie and Joe, to me, was the main 2 characters in this book that I connected with. What I did not realize by the title and the synopsis on the back of the book is that the book was about an Indian culture. The book was pretty much about a little girl, I believe age 6, went missing from her family. Then I was so connected to all the characters in this book till it was scary. I felt grief, anger, sadness, overwhelmed, just all the things. First time reading a book by this author, and I enjoyed the storyline, the banter, the dialogue, and the ending of this book. I feel like this book was so well written, with all the chapters landing in the right areas of where the book was going. I was very upset with some of the characters in the book because they caused so much lifetime grief for another family for what? Their selfish needs. I feel like this book could have been like a true story book because it touched on great points that really happened in this world. Great read. Y'all, this book was very entertaining for me. It just had my emotions and my feelings all over the place. When what did her name end up being? Norma. Her name was Ruthie, but then as she grew up, she known her name to be Norma. She did it went exactly like what any human trafficking or kidnapping storyline would go. She had thoughts, she had stories, she had memories, and she just at times just felt like she was not in the right family. It just really broke my heart in this book, especially with me being a mom of kids. I just feel like that book was just the most emotional book that I have actually read yet. I did not put a a review on Goodreads about this book, but we did read Crash by Frida McFadden, and I gave this book a 5-star read. Always love a Frida McFadden book, and this book took me there exactly like her books always do. So this book is about Tegan, I think that's how you say her name. She was a young pregnant girl, and she actually got stuck in a snowstorm. A family saved her, and then it just goes from there, y'all. I really do not want to say too much about this book because like it will actually give this book away. But guys, if you love a Frida McFadden book, or if you have never read a Frida McFadden book, I would suggest you read The Crash. This is one of her newer books. It was such a great story. The dialogue in this book was just hella great. The speed of what was happening in this book was great, but you did not get there as quick as you thought that you would get there or wanted to get there. It just captured your attention, and it just kept you wanting to read more of the book. My heart goes out to one of the characters in this book because of an illness that she had. Pretty much she had an illness, and it was just grief for her. But it's one thing, y'all, you might think you know a couple or whatever, but when you're reading a Frida McFadden book, that couple is not that couple that you actually think that they are. So again, y'all, I love a Frida McFadden book, so The Crash was a great read for me. I finally read one of the Hunger Games book, which is book 1, and it is The Hunger Games by Susanna Collins. I gave this book a 3-star read. I love the covers of the newer books that they have now, but per se me buying the next books in this series, I don't think I will. I gave this book a 3-star read. It is a typical, I don't want to say Hunger Games book, but it is just to me a typical book about a game. To me, this is a gaming book, because like some of the things that actually happen in the book is like images that you will only see in games that people play as far as video games. But it was very easy to follow. The characters were very easy to actually get attached to. So of course you all know that the main character that I actually got attached to was Prim's sister. And what was her name? What was Prim's sister name in this book, y'all? But that was the character that I actually got more hooked on than any of them, because like I don't know, y'all, this book was just, it was a good book, but it just is not a book that will be high on my radar to read. Okay, so another dark romance book. We read The Sinner by Chantel Tesler. Y'all, what did I give this book? Y'all gotta hold on a minute. I gotta see what I gave this book, and I gotta see what I wrote down for this book. So this is the Lord's book. And it's called The Sinner by Chantel Tesler. I gave this one a 4-star read. And I'm just curious to what I actually wrote about this book as well, y'all. Second book in the Ritual by Chantel Tesler. I enjoyed this book more toward the end of the book. Now I will say and mean it, this one has nothing on the Ritual. So yes, I was a little disappointed in this book. But it did pick up some. Sin in Ellington just was not as hot of the Lord story as Blakely and Riot. And that is what threw me off, I believe. Now, on a more real note, this book has some trigger warnings in it, so check those before reading this book. There was a lot of thrilling plots, and steam definitely was there. I can say that I liked this book. I gave it a 3-star, and I wrote my review on this book. But like I said, toward the end of this book, it really started to get really good to me. But it just, if they would not have made the Ritual the way the Ritual actually panned out, maybe this book would have got a very much more higher reading than me. But I actually have the 3rd book in this series, and they said that book with Tyson in it is awesome. So they say it's like a tie between the Ritual and the 3rd book in this series. But we did read The Sinner by Chantel Tesler. Did not take me long to read this book because I just have really gotten into this dark romance era, y'all. Last few books that we read in the month of February. I read a Lynn Painter book, and it is Betting on You. I gave this book a 3-star read. This was my first Lynn Painter book that I read, even though I have a lot of her books on my shelf. Cute book here. This is truly a YA book that had all the funny times for young adults. The storyline was so easy to keep up with, and the relationship that was forming was great too. I love the way the dude that had a nickname for her. I love the way that the dude had a nickname for her. It was Glasses. I thought that was just the cutest thing. Lynn Painter did a great job with this one. This writing was wonderful. I connected with the characters very well. Bailey was so cute in this book. This was a real YA book. It was not steamy, not spicy, not like any of those things. But it was still a book that was easy to read and that really captured your attention. Dang. So, but I really did like Lynn Painter's Betting on You. The next book that we will talk about is a Rachel Gillian book, One Dark Window. This is actually a series book. It is called The Shepherd's King for this series. We gave this book a 2-star read. I really did not enjoy this book at all. This is a fantasy book. And One Dark Window by Rachel Gillian. I really do not know what to think or thoughts about this book. Another fantasy read that just did not capture my attention at all. I did not DNF this book, but I could have. My expectations for this book were very high because so many people seem to enjoy this book. I would usually buy 1 book or 2 of the series, but I did not for this book, and I'm glad that I did not. The world building and plot did not make sense to me, and I was just left so confused throughout the book. Just not a series for me. So I mean, I love the cover of this book, and I wanted to love this book, period, but it was just not a read for me. So we read another Lynn Painter book, and it is Better Than the Movies. And we gave this book a 4-star read. What did I say, guys? Oh, this one was a long one, so I'm wondering what am I saying about this book. Lynn Painter, nice YA rom-com book for the world to read. Okay. Liz and Wes was just the cutest fake dating couple I love to read about. I do not imagine that they would do what they did when I started reading this book. I just thought that they were going to be two people that aggravated each other throughout the book, or just will not be mentioned again in some chapters. Even more than Michael came in the picture. Even more when Michael came in the picture. Was I wrong? Y'all, the way Liz and Wes played their role was awesome. I love the way Wes brought out the fashion in Liz, and that she did not think she had, and the way he made her feel about herself. I thought it was so cute that the way they text each other all the time and the dates they went on were YA stuff. At some point I knew they were going to be together because the feelings just was too strong with each other, and they were, the way he cared about her, she felt about her, and how she felt about her mom was just so nice, and I was here for it. Great YA read. So guys, this book was a very cutesy read, and I did give that book a 4-star read. We read Firekeeper's Daughter, y'all, and just being generous, I gave this book a 3-star read. This was not a favorite book of mine. It took me some time to actually get to this book, to buy this book and want to read this book. I really do not know how I felt about this book. I was pretty much just winging the story altogether. I was a bit confused on what was going on in the book, but I did not understand. But I did understand that there was an 18-year-old that was working with the FBI to solve murders, the murder of her uncle, etc., and her grief due to the fact of his death. She actually witnessed a murder, I think. I enjoyed reading about Grand Mary. I thought she was the best one throughout the book. She even, the main character, she enjoyed hockey, but had to put her career on hold due to the fact of her fragile mother. There is so much piled up in this book that it distracted me from what made it good. I truly think this book could have been edited better to take out the piled up stuff that took away from the banter storyline and made it a much shorter book. So guys, this book, it was just, I don't know. It just was not what I was expecting out of this book. And guys, that sun has came right back out. Y'all see that? Alright guys, so the last book that we read in the month of February is a Alex Howard book. It's a Reese's Book Club book. It's called Sterling House. So we gave this book a 3-star read, I believe. This book was just pretty much about a young girl named Opal. She had a lot of things going against her. She was an orphan. She was a high school dropout. She had 2 jobs, and she also had a little brother who she was determined to make his life better than what her life was. So this book is written in Eaton, Kentucky, and it is something about the Sterling house that really captures her attention. I want to say that she actually, like, her mom actually like read a lot of, or she heard a lot of stories about the Sterling house, and it was just in her to know about this Sterling house. And so she ended up going to the Sterling house, talking to the person that lives in the Sterling house, and getting a job at the Sterling house to make ends meet, to make her brother's life better than what her life was about. So basically it all just kind of like boiled down to the person that actually stayed in the Sterling house in Opal. Her brother still had some kind of saying in this story, but to me it just boiled down to those two people. So the Sterling House by Alex Harrow. It was captivating. It was a talented read, and I just feel like it will be a nice book to read, like if you're in a reading slump of any kind. So guys, that is all the books that we read in the month of February. Again, we read all the books that we said we was going to read except for one, and we're actually in the middle of reading that one right now. So guys, again, if you are not a subscriber to this family, subscribe to this family, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.